Memorial Day, we honor America's servicemen and women. And tonight, you're about to meet soldiers who formed a brotherhood so strong they found nothing could replace it.
This past year in Afghanistan was the deadliest yet for American troops.
Just 5 days into October, it is one of the deadliest stretches in the war.
This is Kamdesh district. U.S. troops suffered heavy losses on October the 3rd.
The Taliban stormed their remote outpost in the mountains there.
This used to be an American base.
About 300 local insurgents launched a coordinated early morning attack Saturday.
But now it's controlled by Taliban.
The attacks took place simultaneously at 2 remote outposts near Kamdesh.
8 soldiers killed.
8 U.S. troops were killed.
8 U.S. soldiers were killed.
We're not going to quit until there's nothing left in the tank.
Troops being outnumbered in remote areas.
Desolate mountains.
2 military outposts.
About 300 local insurgents.
300 Taliban fighters.
Jagged mountain hideouts.
The troops stationed at Combat Outpost Keating feared they were sitting ducks. At the end of the day, was it worth it, do you think? Combat Outpost Keating being there?
You know, the only way to access the outpost was by helicopter. So we got in there, had no real idea. You know, we'd seen the slides, we'd gotten the briefs, gotten firsthand accounts from Sergeant Kirk and stuff, but it wasn't until that next morning I woke up and I went outside in the light for the first time, and you just look up and it's mountains all around you. At first it was, who would do this to soldiers? Who would pick this spot? You know, we were getting shot at it on average about once a day.
And then the sun comes up the next morning and it's just like, whoa, 101, you know, take the high ground, right?
When I walked out there, I was like, man, we're fucked. I don't know why they would put this here.
And October 3rd, you know, 6 o'clock in the morning, bright and early, I'd just gotten off guard a few hours before, so I was still racked out.
I don't know why I didn't turn on the radio, I didn't do anything. It was like eerie quiet. And then that first volley came, and it felt like it never ended.
And when the Taliban attack finally did happen in October 2009, seen here in this terrifying video posted months later, we're horribly outnumbered by up to 400 enemy fighters.
When the rounds came in, you just knew this wasn't, you know, the everyday, normal wake-up call attack.
Everybody was sleeping. It was right around sunrise, and I remember waking up and hearing explosions going off. You know, it takes you, you know, a minute to go from your underwear to full kit. And in that minute, you start to wake up and you can start hearing the intensity of the gunfire going on that morning.
I had guard duty that morning. Actually, I was the shift before when the battle kicked off. I was in my bunk. Incoming came in. It was a little heavier than we were used to. And then normally it would, you know, take a few rockets and it would let off. But they just, the rockets were continuous. As I'm getting my stuff on, like, you could tell immediately that there was something else.
I mean, I'd never heard that kind of incoming fire in my life.
the first thought in my mind was like, I said, where am I going? You know, I look at my chart because I'm fucking out of it. And I'm like, where? And then I start hearing the bombs keep going off and on and off. I was like, damn, they're fucking going heavy. And I remember Kirk being like, man, they're fucking laying it on us tonight. Today. I said, Jones, what time is it? I think I told him it was like 6:02 or 3 or something like that. And that's the last thing I ever said to him.
They had a B-10 that they loved to fire, and LRAS 1 was like dead center for that B-10. And I looked over, and there's 2 guys sitting in that guard tower, and that B-10 hit, and it just ripped. There was nothing. I just saw the debris and everything just poof, it was gone.
But the enemy had great elevated positions. They had great support by fire set in, where they could suppress with one and maneuver around to get a better angle on our defensive positions.
That Ermul village is where they kind of like assembled. They kicked everybody out. They like came in the night before and they're like, get out or you're dying. And the Taliban waited there all night till the morning hit, and then they hit us and they're right there. So when they breached the front wire, they were attacking us from the front gate. Like where they were coming at us from was the front gate.
You could tell from the volume of fire coming in. Like those, every time you stepped out of cover, you were going to get a few near misses. And they were pretty close. Closer than usual. And you could tell they were shooting at you from all different directions, which was also when you...
I grabbed ammo and went with Danley to Copus's position, which was, LRAS 1. And Copus told us, he said, man, there's a sniper trying to shoot me back there. Y'all might want to watch out. And Danley said, man, let's move to the front of the Humvee. And if we didn't do that, we'd be fucking dead. Like a B-10 round, like explode right where we were at.
So as I'm sitting there trying to get a situation report from my guys on the perimeter, I mean, every report coming in is taking overwhelming fire.
They'd overwhelmed the mortar pit. The mortar guys couldn't get out of the building to fire off the mortars. The first guy that was killed was Kevin Thompson. He was killed, I mean, almost immediately right off the bat. So those guys were, as soon as they'd get out the door, they were getting shot.
And look up into the ECP tower. And the minute I poked my head up there, just like 8 or 9 guys were just shooting at you. So I turned around and looked, and down at the bottom of the stairwell was this big streak of blood and some giant boots. That's when Kirk got shot.
That's when we'd found out that the front gate had been hit and that Sergeant Kirk had gone down.
It was like hail, you know what I mean, hitting the ground next to you. I mean, bullet fragments and dust, flying through the air. It was just, that's when it really set in, how dire of a situation. Guys shooting up into the mountains, up on the north face, guys shooting up in the mountains on RPG rock. Guys, there's a village across the river in Ermul that was just a wall of machine gun fire coming from it, and everybody trying to lay fire into it. I mean, that's the first time I had sat down and really kind of acknowledged that we were taking it 360 high and low from every direction.
Started trying to maneuver guys around to get them at a, because there wasn't too many places to be in a defensive position without being absolutely exposed.
So we decided to fall back to the main COP area.
The Blue Platoon barracks was against the LRAS, and Scusa came out and he immediately got shot by the sniper. I mean, I couldn't even, he came out the door that, I think the sniper probably had a bead on the door. And I was like the first person, first American I saw die. I was just like, this isn't gonna end, And I think a lot of people are thinking the same thing too. It was just this feeling like, oh, well, I'm next, I'm right beside him. I'll be leaving soon.
the bombs wouldn't stop, you know. So I started to notice, I was like, man, this is, you know, we're fucked, basically. Right. I wasn't like, oh, we're gonna die, I'm just gonna stand here. No, I was just like, okay, yeah, we're probably gonna fucking die.
Kind of stuck where I was because I was surrounded by fire and then, you know, the front gate. So, well, the way to the front gate. But I think everyone, you know, everyone we talk about it, we're all like, yeah, this is the part where I thought I was done. This is when I thought it was over for me. So at this point, I think everyone's feeling it, you know, go down the back of their neck.
Like, I remember, like, the bomb exploding, and it blew me back into the smoke pit. I hit the stairs, and then another one hit the building as I was going down. And man, it waxed. And I came to, I remember Copus and Romesha screaming for me.
The position I ran to, it was a 50 cal. And I got there, and he'd already burned through 200 or 300 rounds before I even got there. And I saw the ammo laying on the ground. I get there, and I'm throwing ammo cans up. And I'm trying to link belts for them together. And I see these two guys, and I was like, what the fuck? And it took me a minute, because they'd never been that close. And it took me a minute to realize, and I was like, holy shit. I said, that's Taliban fighters, you know what I mean? So I grabbed my M4 real quick, and I started engaging those guys.
And Greg's like, they're in the fucking, they're in the wire, man. He said they're right over there by the fucking shower. Like I said, we still had snipers and stuff on us. He said, let's just engage them. So we counted, and we jumped up, and we engaged them, and we shot those guys. And there were other guys near the shitters in truck one, where truck one was. They were all over the fucking place. And like I said, I was running out of ammo. We engaged them, jumped up and down, and they started throwing fucking grenades at us.
Well, the enemy was able to outflank me to the right, me and Gregory, and they came through the front gate and fired an RPG and the generator we were setting on. Took it to the right side and blew me on Gregory, who was to my left.
And then we lost comms.
Motherfucking cops! What? We lost comms, boys. What's the plan, G?
Because there was a part, they were in our fucking wire, dude.
Well, that's where I was going next, because, you know, the enemy penetrates the compound.
I could hear them laughing, parading, like chanting, like just yelling. Bro, there's ANA running away.
And the Afghans at abandoned posts, they ran.
The ANA part of the base had already become overrun, so I was guarding the northern sector, keeping anybody infiltrating the COP from getting toward the headquarters in the barracks.
All the Afghans, they had to run past me because I think the insurgents were trying to get in through their side. And in the video, I think you can see some of the ANA guys cheering them on, but they couldn't get through because that's where that first fire was.
In this how easy they breached our concertina wire. They would just throw a blanket over it. I mean, that's as simple as that sounds.
Enemy in the wire. Enemy in the wire. Everybody fall back. See? They're fucking everywhere. Sergeant, what the fuck do we do? Enemy in the wire. Enemy in the wire. Everyone into Alamo position. No, not today. Alamo. Collapse to the core. Fuck that. We need to retake this camp.
That's when Romesha did his push out, his counterattack.
Now I'm going to explain this how I seen it happen. Romesha busted through the door I was looking at. He had Danley and Raz behind him, and he said, "I need a group of fucking volunteers. We're going to take this bitch back." And that was his exact words.
I need volunteers. We're taking this bitch back. Oh yeah, bro. Let's go. Got me in. Raz, you got me.
Need some volunteers, and we're going to take this bitch back.
There was about 5 or 6 of us that kind of volunteered to be the assault element to push out.
5 guys stand up. Raz, Delaney, Danley, Sergeant Miller, and Jones.
When he asked for volunteers, I just instantly stood up. I don't want to die like this. I want to die on my feet. I want to kill these motherfuckers, if I'm just being honest with you. He said, we're going to take the ammo supply point back and go from there. Because if we don't have ammo, we ain't got shit.
It's a moment you're like, all right, fuck it. Like, you're going to kill me today. That's fine. I said, but I will kill as many of you, you know what I mean, as I can before I go down. That's just how it is.
Miller, Donnelly, let's go.
We'd cleared out, and from our barracks building, you had to round a little corner, and it was a little hallway of Hesco's, and right around the other side of that Hesco's was our ammo supply point.
Started shooting them, and we were shooting guys above the mortar pit, shooting guys on the switchback. You know, where I'm engaging kind of to my left, there was dudes next to the LZ, and they took off running. We engaged them, and then there was other guys that were running down the hill a little bit further down the road, and we engaged them. Danley was right next to me, and he was just feeding me ammo, and we got the ammo supply point going, and Romesha said, I just want you to stay here.
But also at that supply point, there was a little, I guess, a fighting position built into the Hesco's. So we kind of used it as a staging point to hold our ground to fight the guys outside the wire that were trying to still come in, and fight the guys inside the wire that were already there, so we could keep advancing our position.
Stand up and I look over the Hesco, and I got a Taliban fighter. He's running up to Jones's position, taking his machine gun off his shoulder.
Jones was there with a 249 trying to light people up with a saw. We had a guy named Delaney there. He was, providing suppressive fire for Jones to watch his back while he was shooting people. But that's where, when we got to the ammo supply point, we had access to grenades. So I started taking grenades and I was throwing them over the Hesco's because the guys were running along the Hesco's.
Raz, without missing a beat, he's already got the grenade pin pulled and spoon popped. Just drops it right over the other side of the fence on him.
Frag these dudes, frag these dudes.
Smoke them for 3. 1,000, 2,000, 3. Eat shit, motherfucker!
We would just take as many grenades as we could and pop them over the Hesco's, trying to kill the guys, running back and forth.
I start blind firing over the top of the Hesco, my M4. And as Jones is trying to pull his machine gun and get back, Danley's trying to come down on the guy. He gets off a couple of rounds, Danley takes one to his left shoulder.
And I was able to shut the front gate on him, pushed him out. Started kicking ammo back to the rest of the guys in the Alamo position to refit them. And we realized, all right, tide's kind of turning.
And at that point, I was like, we lost some people, so there was that dread. But there was that feeling, like you said, we're taking it back.
But the enemy was smart. They'd put Dushka anti-aircraft guns up on the mountains and actually hit one of the aircraft that came in for the first run and disabled his hydraulics.
Because when the first air support came, they got shot and left pretty quickly.
Can't really get spots on rounds.
Hi, Jimmy. Hey, we're on the left-hand side of the mountain.
Those Apache guys, God bless them. It was some of the craziest things I've ever seen. I watched the Apache. I pinned these guys down.
Was it a sense of relief, though?
Oh, yeah. I mean, man, let me tell you, we were happy to give it back to those motherfuckers. More than happy.
Be advised, we're in a bad situation. Need you to come in hot immediately.
I think they're pinned down good, bro. I don't think they want to lift their head.
The enemy is so close, the Apaches will have to lay down their cannon fire within 10 meters of the American position.
I know it's high risk, but we need to get these guys off the over.
10 meters. So there's...
You got to be kidding me.
You can see muzzle flashes down here like lightning bugs.
There was a QRF element that came down after, we were able to, with air support, get enough control of everything that they were able to make their way down.
Just as we were about to push in the wire, Chosen Company, who reinforced us, called us up and let us know that they'd found Hart, we knew that we'd finally had everyone. Everyone was going home.
Within days, the U.S. abandoned the base and bombed it back to dust. Pentagon later did its own investigation and admitted that at the time there was no tactical or strategic purpose for the outpost.
This used to be an American base here in Kolangor Valley, but now it's controlled by Taliban.